Our word of the week this week is penthein, which is a verb, and it means to mourn or to grieve, and penthos, the noun, which is just mourning or grieving. In both cases, we're talking about sorrow with an outward expression. In other words, sorrow that has an obvious, noticeable effect on the person who's experiencing it. Usually comes with lamentations, wailing, crying, the beating of the breast, the rending of garments, etc., etc. It can obviously be over death, but it can also be over a wide range of other things. Before we look at examples, we need to talk about the Stoics for a moment. Within Stoicism, grief or mourning, our word penthos, is considered a vice. Why is that? Because you're choosing to remain focused on something that you can't change, something that has happened, that can't unhappen, and that you don't have any real power over. So the Stoic position is things that happened, you can't change that, you should embrace them, you should move forward, take them as just a part of your reality and your life, and to press on with living. So the pain is a lesson, and accept it, embrace it, carry on. That is not at all the way that the New Testament use of penthos, or the verb penthein, to mourn or to grieve, works. So bear that in mind. We live in an age where Stoicism has become popular in conversation, and there's a lot of great things about Stoicism, but the Stoic view of mourning or grief should not factor into our examination of mourning or grief in the New Testament. That being said, let's take a look at some non-death related mourning. First up, we're looking at Matthew chapter 9, verse 15. And Jesus said to them, "Can the wedding guests mourn, penthein, as long as the bridegroom is with them? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast." Now, why would you mourn because a guy got married? It comes down to a strange translation choice here in the ESV. They say the wedding guests, but it's not the wedding guests. Below here I have the Greek phrase for you. It is hoi huioi to nymphonos. So hoi huioi, the sons to nymphonos of the bridegroom. The sons of the bridegroom. Are we talking about his male children? No, we're not talking about his male children. We're talking about his dudes. We're talking about his boys. This is presumably a young man getting married, and surrounding him are his peers, his guys. And when one of the guys goes off and gets married, the guys who are left behind may grieve or mourn because he's going off to embrace grown-up manhood. He's going to become a husband and a father and a part of the community in a different way than when he was a young bachelor, right? So Jesus says, can the bridegroom's boys mourn while he's still there with them? No, but at the end of the wedding, when he's gone and they're left behind, that's when they'll experience that sort of sense of loss. Right? Carrying on, let's go to 1 Corinthians 5, verses 1 and 2. It is actually reported that there is sexual immorality among you, and of a kind that is not tolerated even among pagans. For a man has his father's wife, not his mom, but his stepmom. And you are arrogant. Ought you not rather to mourn, epenthesate, let him who has done this be removed from among you. So Paul describes a situation where there is blatant sinfulness and immorality in the community. And he says the proper response to that is grief or mourning. You should be actively mourning the fact that such blatant immorality exists in your community. You shouldn't be celebrating it. You shouldn't be boasting over it. You're arrogant about it. You know, you're inviting this twisted couple to the party. Let's carry on and go to Revelation 18, 1 through 19. We're not going to look at 19 verses here. I just want to point you in the direction of 5 verses. So in Revelation chapter 18, Babylon is described. And this embodiment of Babylon is described in mourning for itself in verses 7 and 8. And then in verses 11, 15, and 19, we're told that the people groups who were reliant on Babylon, who depended on and were affiliated with Babylon, would also mourn at the fall of Babylon. So there's a little homework. You can go back and read through that chapter and look at the verses that talk about that mourning. But we're going to end with probably the most famous verse about mourning, and it's from the Beatitudes, Matthew chapter 5, verse 4, where we read, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." And I put the whole thing here in Greek. It's short and it's interesting. Makarioi, blessed, hoi penthuntes. Penthuntes is a present participle, and it has the article. Blessed are those who continually mourn in the present. Hoti, because, now we're going to hear why. Why are they blessed? Because, autoi, they, and here it comes, paraklephesontai, this is a future passive verb, they shall be comforted, paraklephesontai, same verb as, it's rooted in the same word as paraclete, the comforter, the counselor, the one called alongside. The one called alongside will minister to them. It's a passive verb. In the future, something will be done to those who are presently grieving and mourning over the current state of things. Pretty great stuff. So our word of the week is both the verb and the noun, penthane, to grieve or to mourn, and penthos, mourning or grieving. It obviously speaks of the response to an actual loss by death, but it is also symbolically used in a great number of ways. Bust out your concordance and look for some more, and I hope you find your exploration interesting, and I hope you found the video interesting. And until next time, Charis Kairene Humin, grace and peace to you.